Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to talk to you Last of Us versus State of Decay. Now, first things first, I've been playing a hell of a lot more of State of Decay than The Last of Us. And comparatively, they're both flip sides of the same coin. Naughty Dog versus Undead Studio, I believe is the company's name. And State of Decay is the first game made by Undead Studios. And they're both on completely different systems. And with that being said, Naughty Dog's going to be able to pimp out their game like it is nothing. And I seriously feel that State of Decay needs to be getting their time in the sun, because this game is, though it may be made by their first game, and it shows with the engine's performance and little mechanical, not even mechanical, a little just more, it's an unpolished game, but it's not a bad game. It is, I have to say, one of those games that are pretty good.
Maybe we can find some help.
And because the studio's pretty much first game out,
Everybody takes up cannibalism?
and this is actually, I do feel, how zombie games with the ending of the world just starting out should be described as. I mean, this is how you start a game with zombies, and how you start off showing the mechanics of the game and how to play the game and everything about it. This is how you do it. There's a little bit of hand-holding, just enough to get your hand so you can get an understanding, get your feet wet in the water, so be it. But it teaches every mechanical idea with no so much of melodrama, but it really sets the pace and the tone of the game as a whole.
And keep quiet. Maybe we can get past them without.
And just listening to some bits and pieces of the dialogue, even right then and there, tells you what you need to do, lets you do it, and then after this tutorial, massive tutorial level, it lets you go. The hands are off. It gives you, they'll have a radio operator calling you, telling you what to do, but it all makes sense within the purview of the game. And these tutorial levels, it's like they do it in the beginning, they let you go on after that. It actually set, and this is probably why, this is why I'm going to be talking about more of State of Decay than ever. But I'm just saying, the biggest thing is that they're flip sides of the same coin, where Naughty Dog's Last of Us is more character-driven and more based on its story, bringing the sense of a zombie apocalypse. State of Decay, on the other hand, does it massively through its mechanics, though the emotional plot points that they go through, though, are still very good. They're well enough to elicit an emotional feel like, holy crap, of, oh my god, there's overwhelming problems, we have zombies to worry about, oh my god, did we just survive this with people, oh my god, these people are in horrible conditions, trying to survive, and stuff like that. That's the issue, is that within this game, they do it through mechanics. That State of Decay has a lot of its tension and emotional feelings dealing with mechanics, and if they had more time and more ability to polish it with a little more money, I would say, without a doubt, this would probably, I feel in my humble opinion, be better than Last of Us. As it stands, with this being an open world game, in every single building you can go through, or at least so far, I mean, how many hours I put in this, I'm like at 10 or so hours just messing around. It really sets up a very good tone of the end of the world and how some people band together. You actually have control of a lot, and this is the sense that why I hold Undead Studios higher than Naughty Dog is A, because they're a little guy, and little guys, especially in any industry, do need to get their fair shake and their fair showing, because many great games do get forgotten because they don't have the money to pimp themselves out, and many people need to be focusing on these things, because if you want to push the medium forward, you cannot just hold up your triple A's like Last of Us. You also have to look at the little guys with their pet projects, or projects that this team really loves and believes in, because one is held in check by the powers that be to sell this game to make a huge profit, where these guys, they can make a game they love and at the same time that while they can, both of them can make games that they love, one is under less restrictions than the other, and where State of Decay's only weakness seems to be lack of funds to really be able to make a extremely massive polished game. And I always feel that polish does not provide an exceptional game, and that making a great game, it must be built on its mechanics, its stories, and if there's any flaws that come into this game, if they harm the game in any way, shape, or form, and I mean seriously harm the game, not like, okay, you got some stuttering effects, slow down, those things, yes, should never be in there, but if they're in there, if they do not harm the main flow of the game, there should be most people do criticize that, but that should not be its most harming feature. Is if the game conflicts with itself canonically, theme-wise, with gameplay and story, just to make it more palatable to people, that's when I hold it against it. With this game, every mechanic, everything that's set up for this game flows and binds and melds relatively well together. Now, the telling people, cheering, taunting them, and talking to them is one of those mechanics that just really needs a little more refinement.
Good stuff, man.
That's the only mechanical thing that really needs to be worked on better. But with the plain and simple that this really gives you a world to work in. It really gives you an environment in the world that really feels like the zombie apocalypse has started, and that the idea of getting the lay of the land, which is an extremely important part in any type of realistic setting of survival, this game really sets up the tone of you're surviving. You got to scavenge. You got to grab what you can. Use your wits to win. And winning in this game, or in any sense, is surviving to make it to the next day. That you got to look around, see things, figure out things, and this is what sets this game apart from many other survival-esque games, is that everything that is given to you, you're given just enough power to handle the situation, and that the only way that you can actually seriously unbalance yourself and give you such a huge advantage and make you overpowered is actually by taking the time and energy to gather material to put the power all in your place. That to
I think I've seen enough for now.
unbalance the game, quote unquote, you have to do the legwork for it. So pretty much to become a gun-toting maniac or a zombie head slicing off a monster or a killing machine, you have to do the work, the legwork, gaining the supplies, leveling up your character, and in and of itself, you're going to have moments where you'll be super powerful, but it's only because you have the needed supplies for this. And that in this game, if you're careful and cautious, you will have a lot of weapons, a lot of armaments, and a lot of medical supplies to push you on and hold you the rest of the way. That your power of being overpowered is all based on you, and that this game promotes you to get as much supplies and ammunition to pretty much make you powerful, and that it realizes that zombies, they themselves, a single zombie is no problem, even with no weapons. That by yourself, the most important thing and the best thing to do with a single one-on-one zombie, or to take out zombies en masse but slowly, is to come up quietly behind them and smash their head in. That is the most important thing to be done. And that if you want to go overboard, you need to do the requisite legwork. If you want to make sure you have more weapons, you got to scrounge through them. You have to make that chance and take that chance of going by yourself, not having the ability to easily pretty much bash the zombie's brains in. That if you have to deal with a single zombie, you can take care of no matter the problem easily, even without a single weapon. But the moment you have more than one zombie to deal with, things become challenging, and the proper challenge, because you have a health meter and you have a stamina meter, and both of these things really control you from becoming way too powerful. That each swing will slowly tire you out, and that the zombies, one-on-one, they're equal. You can easily beat them. But once you have more than one, you have to be careful. You have to choose each one of your fights. You can't just be going golf swinging everyone and expect you to run through a horde. That more often than not, if you don't take your time trying to figure out where these zombies are, if they're going to come at you from a different angle, they're going to jump at you, and chew your head off. And that most missions, I have yet to find a way to have a partner go with you. And without a partner going with you, I don't think you can do that. They'll be chewing your head off. They'll be just munching on you like a frickin' breakfast. And that scavenging in this game is so important. It's intrinsic to your survival that you have a map to deal with. Get your supplies wherever you can get them. You have so many things to worry about that you have to make the choice. Take your time and be quiet, get your supplies, or do you rummage through it really quickly in attempts just to clear out things really quickly and get the hell out of Dodge? And just thinking, you know what, I'll deal with the zombies if I can deal with them. This is what makes this zombie game, I feel, one that I do feel that needs to be pimped. And I do hope this gets ported to other systems because I hope this gets ported to PC at least, because this game gets my thumbs up. I was ready to write off this year as another horrible, horrendous, heinous year. And now, with indie developers and titles like this coming out, though they themselves may not be these perfect, special, blossoming perfections, they do a lot that many mainstream titles don't. They know what audience they're going to appeal to. A zombie survivalist. Now, and they really get that tone right. And it also realizes that most people who play zombie games, who want to do that true hardcore experience, they're going to take their time. They're going to stealth their way through. They're going to search every run sack, go through every building, getting as much supplies as they can. But they also appeal, and this is the craziest thing, is they know how to appeal to the mass audience. Not the tech whores, that which I hold no respect for. But they know how to make people, give power to people who want to be a gun-toting maniac gunning through every zombie possible. They actually designed it like that perfectly, where if you want to go killing on a massive scale, you have to do the requisite legwork, as I said before, and that they get more powerful with yourself and your weapons, the more you have to do it more and more. So this level up mechanic is a very good mechanic, that you can even go specializations into weapons. That, do you want to be better with handguns, pistols, shotguns, blunt objects, sharp objects, and whatnot? If you want to be a person who can take out multiple zombies really quickly, you can do that. And that it is all up to you, and that you have a cast of characters that if you befriend or like you enough, you can flip between multiple characters. And this is something that is probably the best thing about this, that if you really want to do it right, if you really want to have a character that can handle, you can have a character that can handle every situation, but only in a general terms, or you can have several dozen specialist characters. One's completely around shooting, one that's completely around blunt objects, one that's completely, and that's what makes this great, is that every mechanic is designed to promote survival and breed this whole feeling that you have a huge community of multiple different talent pools to draw from, and that you can actually have one, as I'm going to show here right now, that can deal with zombies in mass with guns. But this is the other thing, is that dealing with zombies in mass with guns, you cannot, even if you have tons and tons of ammo, you cannot be careless. You have to actually think when you deal with zombies, where the COD players will kind of get a little pissy, but someone who actually understands with handling problems like this, not real zombies, but dealing with serious problems and needing to come up with good solutions, you gotta take your time. Make sure you can peel off zombies off the pack, and if they swarm you, you'll be dead, you'll be screwed. And that no matter how powerful you get, multiple zombies still can hurt you. And this is how a zombie game, in a, I would argue, a traditional sense, should play, is that zombies should never, ever be this easy gun fodder to deal with. That with dealing with multiple zombies, even clearing out a building, you have to be careful. That zombies are not this little easy thing to handle that many games portray them as. That this game, just with this alone, clearing out an infested building, you have a dozen zombies in there. And that if this was any other game, you would have just walked in, mowed them down. You don't have the requisite armor, you don't have the requisite ammo. You have to make sure you drag these zombies out of their area so they can't jump at you. And you gotta make sure each shot counts. Your guns make loud noises to draw zombies in. And that you cannot waste your shots if you want to not need to worry about it, is that every single time you come through, you gotta actually deal with these zombies, in a sense, of what you would really deal with. Otherwise, you're going to be ganked from behind with these creatures. And that they even have special infected, which I think is what makes this game probably a very good, that they take the cliche of a modern game trope with zombies, that you're going to have tiers of zombies, a la Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead, where each zombie has different powers, and if you eliminate them, you're going to have a better time. You have each type, you got multiple different types, and realizing that you have to deal with this, even right then now, you see that was 3 zombies. I'm having a hard time. This was a well-leveled up character. This is what makes a zombie game still challenging, is that, yeah, the challenge comes in the fact that you need to be careful, and that even right now, yeah, I'm almost completely exhausted, and there's still more zombies to deal with. You have to take your time. You have to be careful. That these games, this type of zombie game, is one that promotes an actual cautionary tale of being careful throughout its mechanical gameplay, and that everything is designed around making you, if you want to be powerful, you got to do it yourself. But if you're concerned about anything, you yourself have to do the requisite legwork, and that many people are going to just dismiss this game, which is a sad thing, because this game really does a zombie game from a independent studio, a very small development house, really well. That a game like this gets my approval very easily, not just because it's a small guy doing it, but it shows the love, the care, and the understanding of the audience that's directed at. It's not directed to just make the most amount of money. It's a project, yes, that's made for making money, but it realizes that how do we grab many people? How do we grab the right people? How are we going to grab the people that are going to fall in love with this game, that are going to love this and not want to put it down, who are going to want to pimp, who are going to fall in love with this game? And I may not be the best zombie fan of video games, that I don't like always these horror games, but this sets the right tone, that it gives you power and it gives you limitations. And it does not have you outreach your power. That anytime you deal with big issues, big zombies, you can be killed. And the fact that finding all these weapons, you will slowly be things will weigh you down. You'll be slower. You'll be taking less. Your stamina will be decreasing if you are encumbered. If you don't have the right supplies, the right weapon, the right ammo, you'll be screwed. And this is what really sets the post-apocalyptic right. And the upgrading of buildings, of having, so you don't have to run out of supplies. And this is what, in and of itself, a zombie game should be like. Not just the emotional gut heaval that The Last of Us tries to do with its story. This game does it with its mechanics, where you're having a tense moment. Do I have enough food? Do I have enough supplies? Do I have enough ammunition to actually make sure we survive? Or are we going to die? Did I leave my person, get him injured? And they have random occurrences, like a rogue light game. And that's what it does right, is that it really makes it feel like I have these stats to upgrade, but they're just enough to make me able to handle situations easier, but not make me overpowered. That dealing with every problem, there are consequences to your actions. Do you get food, or do you get ammunition? Do you need medicine? Do you trade for this stuff? And when you build things, do you build areas to make your people better, or do you build it so you can have more people together? Do you build a place where you can actually have food, to have farming, so you don't have to scavenge for food as much? Or do you build a library so you can level up everyone quicker and better, so you can actually handle situations better to gain more supplies? Do you move your people to a bigger location so you can have more people to do more things, to build more things? To make your place so strong so you can handle the zombie apocalypse? And that is in and of itself what a great zombie game is, and Undead Studios has done this exceptionally. Almost, and the fact that Last of Us and State of Decay are flip sides of the same coin, and both of them that are, I would argue, applaud, that have the right pacing, and also what makes it better, this game lets you set your own pacing, which in and of itself really allows you to set the tension. So if you're having a hard time, if you're having problems, you can actually say, you know what, I'm going to take it down a tier today, or I'm going to take it down a tier. And it also has a night and day cycle that is so perfect that it really gets you to go when you're going at night. It feels creepy that you can't see far, that if you hit the lights, these things are going to be drawn to you. It makes you pretty much choose what's the challenges you have to do. And with all these special zombies and infected, it really sets up the tone of, this is post-apocalyptic. oh my god, am I going to survive? And with all these level up mechanics and these people interacting and random occurrences like people getting mad, people losing ammunition, people getting hurt, making you choose your choices, and they change each and every single time, it sets a tone better than any other game, especially with its mechanics. Because if this game didn't set itself up telling its story in its world with mechanics, I would have argued it's just an average game. But because it does its world with theme and tone with its mechanics also, I feel it's almost on par. It's pretty much, I argue it's pretty much on par, but just under polished to Last of Us. And it's something that it's a must-play game for everyone. And I hope it gets released on more platforms. Thank you for listening. Please tell me what you think. Play this game, and good night.